Yeah, Jimmy. I
2021.
I couldn't resist the I saw when I was looking at my video settings that I could be a dog today. And it reminds me of that funny video where the guy was like the lawyer was calling into a judge and he got he got stuck with that thing on. It was hilarious.
I do remember seeing that across the
Lots
news.
and lots of funny filters though, and Zoom has gotten creative.
Well, it
How
makes
you doing, bud?
I am amazing, by the way. How are you?
Yeah, I am doing well. It's been interesting. I'm not a big fan of the holiday when it falls on Sunday, but then rolls into Monday. That creates a little bit of havoc.
Yeah, today's been the craziest, most crazy Wednesday, Monday.
Yeah,
Today feels like that Monday because everybody was back at it. It's like, oh shit, what a day.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Actually, the so we're live on the book base. So
Oh,
hello out
hi
there,
everyone.
world.
I just see that in the corner. Hi everyone.
We have we have Kim monitoring comments, so feel free to make fun of us. You know, we got thick skin and we're big boys. So as I was going live, it requires me to put in a description. So I was sitting there, Jimmy, and I was like, you know, two old guys, shooting the shit about life and business, and and then I was like, sharing their combined business, experience of, and I was like, well, how many years have you been doing this?
Since 98, so 20, 22, 23 years.
Yeah, but all in restaurants, or when did you get into the restaurant business?
Restaurant business was 97, 98 area.
Oh, when you
Um,
started your first?
yep, was in 98. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
How about working in them? What it was?
since I was 15, so I'm 52, I'm going on 30. I don't even can't do the math, man. 30,
Yeah.
30 odd, 35 odd years. Yep, from everything from dishwasher, just like anybody else. Started as a dishwasher, bar back, bartender,
The
you name it.
yeah. So yeah, I started. Oh my god, I think my first job in the restaurant business was at Burger King.
You hear me?
At the always fun stuff, Jimmy. The technical stuff, it changes so darn fast. I don't know how people keep up. I mean, we are as tech savvy as I think that they can get.
Right?
We develop all of our own apps. We do all of this amazing, uh, you know, automation, and we've been doing it for so long. I don't know how the average person that doesn't deal with it every day is able to keep up. Like, I mean, it changes so fast. And I want to show a couple things today, Jimmy. The when we're talking about getting ready for this, the topic that came to mind, which is a pain point. Right now I have over 34 locations just for one of my companies, and it's the biggest challenge today. And I said it was going to be this way. I've been saying it actually for a long time. It's people. It's hiring. It's everything to do with the people, and it's brutal. At some level, it is absolutely brutal to to you know to get good people. So recently, I was traveling. I was down in like the Boca, Miami area, and you know one of our locations, actually really well staffed, and it got me thinking. If one man can, right? The
Right.
any
Any
man
man
can, is that a Jimmy Borneman famous quote? The
one man can, any man can.
Yeah, so I was like, I had one guy that, like, he seemed to have the best staffing, and then I had other people that were struggling to the effect that it they actually thought that it was going to hinder their sales, and that's when I think I'd lose it.
Yep. It's a lot of truth there.
So Kim, are you getting us live or no?
No, on my phone it says this video is no longer available on the computer. It just has the text and no video.
Okay, I'm going to Jimmy. I am going to hit stop on the live stream. We're gonna go back in just to see if we can reconnect here.
Were you putting this in a group, Kim, or were you putting this,
I have it going into a group.
which group?
The
Business
business success.
Okay.
Let's see.
I don't know what this I'm shooting contact seller is.
I'm going to stick it in a group. Yeah.
I can see you live now, 14 seconds into it.
So I even have the sound effect now, Jimmy, in the background.
I do have.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't resist, folks. The filter thing kills me. So we started this out, and then I think we got bumped from the face box. So we're back at it again. And today we wanted to talk about staffing and hiring and training. All of those things are critical, and it's not just a matter of hiring good people. It's really about retaining them. That's where the value in the hiring process and the recruiting process comes from. It comes from your ability to keep them. And there's been many studies done. I haven't seen one done in a bunch of years, but the average employee, even at like a fast food restaurant, just putting them through the hiring process and all costs about $600 a head. It's probably 3 times as much now. I know how much money we spend on Indeed and ads, and we have a whole process, and I'm going to share it with everybody today. I'm going to pull up some stuff. So we were I don't know what we got on Facebook and what we didn't on our first round, but Jimmy and I were talking about, we have over 60 years of experience together. We both started in the restaurant industry very young, and we've worked and owned many businesses, and we currently own a bunch of businesses together, and we're out there every day working. Literally, I was on the phone, Jimmy, right, like literally backed into this call because I had to call ADP because I am the highest level authorized rep, and I had to just sit on the phone for 2 hours, trying to get through, finally getting through, and then for them to run through the validation process. It was brutal. And I mean, who has time for that? Like, I mean, no way. It's just, it kills you. So with all this stuff that everybody has to do in a day, I think it's important that you have really good systems, right? If you ever hear me talk about anything, it's really about systems. So, today I want to talk about a hiring system. So that is the one thing I think for everybody that you have to master. You have to master the recruiting and hiring. But today's day and age, it's different. And over the years, Jimmy and I have talked about this at different levels. But the one thing I got to say is, well, nowadays it's about speed. It's probably one of the most important things that we have. It's about speed, because you had, like, it used to be, you throw out an ad, you get people to respond, and then you have time to go through the applications, you call people in, you interview them. And I remember it was, I don't know, it had to be 5 or 6 years ago with Spiffy, another great big company, I built, and we were going across the country, and we knew we had all these cities and all these locations to open, but we knew that we needed people, right? Nothing happens without the people. Even when I do my my demonstrations and I run through decks with investors and with franchisees, I always talk about the secret sauce, and the secret sauce is the employees. And I'm telling you, like, we learned years ago that it was about speed, because everybody can hit that button, on Indeed, apply. Well, if you're fast at getting back to them, your odds go way up as far as if you're gonna get good people. if you're waiting and you take a week to get around to those applications, I guarantee you by the time you call them that you're not going to get anybody. And it's even worse that people, you even you call them fast and you set up interviews and the percentage rate at showing up for interviews is abysmal. And back in the day, you never would have ever not done and gone to an appointment that you had set up, uh, for a job. And, certainly not without
Wouldn't
calling
think-
or any of that.
You wouldn't think people would do that. We weren't raised that way in this generation, in X or the boomers, or it's just you committed, you went there. If you didn't get it, you didn't get it. You got it, you got it, but you didn't leave them hanging. I can't understand this next round of employees. Just can't. You have a
Yeah,
tough time.
it's absolutely crazy. And, it's disheartening at some level because, that ethic is gone. Jimmy, can you see my screen, sir?
I can, sir. Hiring success staffing or staff hiring system.
Okay. So, and this is, I've been using effectively a similar system for many years. I mean, this goes back 20 years for me, Jimmy. This document has been living and breathing for 20 years, and it started out originally as a document called Hiring Hospitality, and it was about finding people and putting them through the process, and it's evolved. The entirety of it is different today, and that's one thing as we go through, I'll comment on the this is one for the. Let me get to the appendix. What do we got? Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to bop off for a second while we're sitting here. I want to show you guys a new hire sample that I have. Jimmy, you still with me or did I lose you?
Oh, we're here. I just turned the camera off.
Yeah, that was good. Okay, I have so many files with all of this fun stuff. It's fine. The DAS. Okay, so this is one of those things, Jimmy. I mean, over the years, I've given this away. We tend to give away a lot of stuff, and this is one of those that I over time have absolutely given away. And let's see if we can get it. There we go. Okay, we got one with some pages in it. Hey, all right. Okay, so one of the things. So this flow chart is probably one of the best tools that there is. And if you know anything about the systems that we put together and the systems that we use, there's lots of them. Like Jimmy and I could talk for hours if we talk through each and every one of these pieces. Like literally, like each one is just a bullet point, and the bullet point to us, there's so much on the back end, and there's so much that we've learned about each little piece. But we'll roll through this pretty quick, Jimmy. Recruiting, it hands down is the lifeblood of your business. You have to be actively recruiting every single day. And if you ask anybody about me, I'm always on the hunt for people. I will have conversations, like dig into them. I mean, every day. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not talking to somebody, because if I see somebody I like and they're doing good work, my thought would be, well, wow, why don't we get them on our team doing good work with us?
Yep.
So that's like one of those things that I think you have to be active in it every single day. You have to be looking at your employment flow. So
Can I touch before you move
Yeah.
on? Can I tell you what we did at one of your companies called Pronto Wash, where we created a card that says "You're amazing," and our management team would see somebody doing a great job and hand it to them, and it would say, "We think you're doing an amazing job. If you're looking for employment, go to this link," and it would take them right to an interview page. I mean, it was that instantaneous. When you find somebody good, steal them.
I used to do that, Jimmy. I would take my business cards, and this is a great year to pick number one of the day. I used to take my business cards. I used to take Avery labels, Jimmy, just like mailing address labels.
Yeah.
And and I would print on the back of my card, right? Because what happens, if you end up liking somebody, you end up writing on the card anyway. So I used to have a stack in my wallet that had stickers on the back. And then I had a stack that didn't, depending on who I'm talking to. But I mean, you walk up and, you get that amazing barista at Starbucks, and I'd be like, hey, you're a star, come be a star with us. So that you're amazing is a great one. So anybody, you know, you put the information on the back, and it's about, it's about being able to do it quickly, right? The more people that know your goals, the more likely you are to achieve them. So the more people you talk to about hiring, the more likely you are to recruit and hire people. So whatever you focus on, it expands.
Well said.
So,
Sorry to bounce you.
no, you're fine. So some of the things, Jimmy. So there's a whole process for us, and we believe in written policies and procedures. We've always been big on that. But one of the things, an application doesn't even need to be what it used to be. But you want an application because you ultimately want them to agree to, the terms of employment through the process of hiring. So even if they're doing an online digital application, which I think is a great evolution, um, but you should still have some disclaimer language, from the old paper application. And I still think it's important at all the locations to have that paper, because one of the things we do is we make them, Jimmy. I don't have one here, but we basically take, like, we print it on 11 by 17. The application. It's one. The first thing is on the application is advice to applicants, and it's a letter, and that letter explains the things that we want and don't want in our business. So we don't waste our time. We only want people that we really want it to work with. So why not get that right out there? And it's probably in here. Here we go. So we have this whole advice to applicants, and part of it is selling ourselves before we even do anything else. The entirety of, even an interview, half the time it's them selling themselves. But once you realize that you like or want that person, then at that point you flip the script and you start selling your company, because you want them to be enthused, you want them to want to be hired, you want them to want to be excited. So here's an advice to applicants. And you'll notice these say company, these are templates that we have, that we built from our systems, that we give to our members. So if you guys are looking for this type of thing, but basically it's a 4-page application, Jimmy, right? So it's got all the basic details. When can they work? Their background, their education. Here's kind of the legal stuff, and then here's the old, please read carefully. Yeah, that's the one. So I think the application's important. I think nowadays you can do it digitally, but I think you still need one, because without it, you need that piece of paper to reference back to. So we print them 11 by 17, and we fold them. And then the thing we have is we have a separate piece of paper, which is our screening questions. And our screening questions are really important because there's these basic screening questions, and it's part of this, pre-employment questionnaire. And all of this, remember, started out as paper. So we have this, all the interview questions are basically on one sheet of paper. At the back of them actually is the reference checks, because I still believe you need to check references. So we have this first thing of 5 questions that we always ask. And the reason those 5 questions existed was because even if somebody came into, like, the restaurant, it was 7 o'clock at night and they turned in an application, I've seen some people bite people's heads off immediately, throw it in the garbage type of thing. Because they're like, oh, they know nothing about the restaurant business. Why would you give an application at 7 o'clock at night or turn one in? Well, the reality is maybe they don't know a lot about the restaurant business, but maybe they're going to be a great employee. You can train people how to be in the restaurant business, but you can't train them to have personality, to be aggressive, and that smile. All those things are really hard to train. So I encourage you to always accept an application. I don't care how busy you are.
Right.
If you're that busy, there's a reason.
Is it silly busy or is it good busy? But I
Yeah.
always said the same thing. It's a lot of those first-time employees coming in. That's when their parents can get them there. They're not driving. They don't know any better. The parents could be white collar or service workers. Never really understood
Are
them.
you talking about hiring the youth of America?
I haven't yet, but there you go.
It sounds like that. If they're not driving, their parents are shuffling them there. And I don't know what happened to that, but that used to be a really big thing, right? You go get a work permit. You'd have to get a work permit. You have to get one here in North Carolina. I had to get one in New Jersey back in the day, work at Burger King. Um, what happened is like I don't see as many young folks being brought into at least our businesses. And it's weird because I have a 14-year-old son and he wants a job. He like really wants a job. I don't know if he wants to work, but he definitely wants a job. He wants to make money. I know that. Um, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But he like, and for us, one of the businesses we have is auto detailing. I mean, what a great thing for somebody to learn at 14, 15, 16 years old. They don't need to move the car, right? We can move the cars for them. You're always gonna have somebody that's old enough. But heck, I mean, they can do prep work on it. I mean, they can do everything. There's nothing my son can't do that one of our technicians does. So it's another great resource is hire them young. They're less expensive. You can have more of them. Sometimes it's about having hands, right? The butt
Yep.
boys of the restaurant industry. It's nice to have a few extras on a busy Saturday night.
True, many hands make light work.
Yes. So here's some of the basic questions, Jimmy. The screening questions, they originally were just designed that you can rattle these off. So are there any days or nights that you cannot work? Right there, they're going to tell you if their availability. I'm not asking them their availability. I'm asking, are there any days or nights you can't work? Because maybe I'm hiring for Wednesday night and they tell me they can't work Wednesday. Well, they just went down in the list. So that's one of those that like, I think it's right out of the gate. What is your comfortable living income? What do you need to earn in
Great
order to
question.
live as you need or wish?
Great question.
Anybody has ever worked for me in the past 20 years, they know that question. That question comes out of me so easy, so fast. And even people joke around, I watch them, they're like, oh, well, like, hey, if he's talking to you about a job, he's gonna ask you this question. So they prep them for it now, which I think is funny. Well, I want them to tell me how much they want to make. Because if you may have a job and the job may pay $15 an hour. Well, if they want to make 20, the odds that they're going to take your job at 15 bucks and it's good, but they're going to only keep it until they find the $20 an hour job.
Yep.
Now,
They know the math.
Is, with that,
They know the math.
yeah, like that's what they need. So they may do it because they're desperate. You got to pay bills, but they're always going to be looking for that other job. So when you end up in that scenario, like you got to know you hire that guy, and some people are real proud that they talked him into it or they wiggled him into a box, and it's that box is going to explode at some point because it doesn't work. You can't get people to work and spend hours that they need to and not make the money that they need to make. They just at some point it blows up.
Yep.
The adverse is you have somebody that you have a $15 an hour job, but somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'm going to bust my butt for 10 bucks an hour. Well, I got a lot of room there now. Now I can talk. How about this? You know what? I'm going to start you at 11. And, if you really kick butt, in the next 30 days, we'll sit down and I can get you to 12. Well, wow, I still have $3 more, Jimmy, to get them to the price that I'm willing to pay, to get good people out of the gate. And that's like a good strategy. That person's going to be motivated. You have room to move them. That person is going to feel appreciated. You're going to give them incentives. And next thing you know, you have one of those great employees because you took them above where they wanted to be and you moved them up in the world because now they have more money than they thought they were going to have and they're living better. And that's one of the things that I find, that we look for a lot. We want people to be comfortable, not overly fat cows, hogs, but we want them to be eager, but we also want them to have a good life.
Yep. Yep.
Why do you want to leave your present job? And my favorite is when they say, "Oh, I don't have a job." Well, that's a huge red flag, folks. Right? It's like, why do you want to leave your job? Oh, well, that place sucks. The manager over there, he's really tough and he makes us like do all this stuff. Well, guess what? You come work for me. I'm that guy.
I probably trained that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, Billy? Billy and I worked together for years. I love that guy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. The other one is, when are you available to start? And these are screening questions, guys. These are quick, boom, boom, boom. When are you available to start? ASAP, right? As soon as possible. Okay. If you have a job and you just told me that you want to leave that job, but you're available to work for me ASAP, means you're going to screw that guy?
Yeah, you should quit on the spot. Not so much.
Well, what's going to happen to me, down the road when you get the 20-hour job,
Yeah, right.
right? You're going to quit. You're going to quit fast. So that's always important that you go through those. I always verify their telephone numbers, make sure I have the right information. And then I ask them if they have any vacation or personal plans in the next 6 months. I mean, how many times have you hired somebody and they walk back and it's 4th of July weekend's coming up and they're like, hey, I have plans. I already got the tickets, Jimmy. Well, you're like, well, when we talked and I interviewed you, I asked you and you said no. Right at the piece of paper.
Well,
So
it changed.
and again, vacations are approved. That's one of the things that I've seen lately is, people feel an entitlement to a vacation. Vacations need to be planned and need to work around the business. At the end of the day, we got to support the business if the business is supporting you. I believe that everybody should get a vacation. I actually require it, but at the same time, it needs to be the right timing, the right time of year for that to work well. So we just got through vacation season in our world, so hopefully I'm good to go for a little while.
Maybe.
Yeah. So these questions, Jimmy, they were originally on piece of paper, but nowadays when we talk about speed of hiring, I think the important thing that you need to do is you need to at least be phone screening. Okay. So I think you need to, if you have a good applicant, you went through the application. A lot of people, the millennials of the world, they don't want to interview anybody. They just want to like send them messages, right? Right. Jimmy, don't look at me. You can't see me.
And I'm talking right back at you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Let's have a conversation at a table where we both have our phones out in front of us. So that's a big change that's happened for us that we pioneered a few years back was so we first went to phone screening probably about 10 years ago. And so now we screen everybody. So every application that comes through, if they're even remotely qualified or look good, we phone screen them. So we have people that literally spend the entirety of a day just going through applications and calling people. And that's to get them through these questions. If they can get through those questions, then we take them to the next step. The next step used to be a live interview. Now, I told you already that people ghost these days, which drives me nuts. So the worst is to have a general manager at a location set aside, a few hours of his day to do interviews and have nobody show up. So the thing we went to a video interview process a few years back, and that one was good. So we took this pre-screening employment and interview, and I went to a video interview. And I'm telling you, when I was telling you, we had to hire about 50 people in one shot across the country. We were able to close that gap in about a month and a half, and our hire rate before that wasn't even close to it. And we got good people. I literally when I piloted it, I would have the folks screen them as soon as they got a live one. They would send them the information. They already had my calendar, so that's a nice part about having digital tools. They could see my calendar. They could see where they could put them in. They could be like, hey, are you available for a video interview? And this is before Zoom and all that stuff. This was like rough days of like communicating. If they had an iPhone, I was in heaven. If not, I was in trouble. And we'd have to go to like Google Meet or some other version thereof. And we ultimately now, I don't know if you heard, but the new iOS, you're going to be able to video chat with people with Android.
Ooh, that's impressive.
That'd be cool. See, the new what's it called, 15 or something like that is coming out already.
Yeah,
And that's a cool feature. I think that is long overdue because I hate it that I couldn't do it. We had to go to some third party app to communicate. And it worked, and we figured it out. The thing it would tell me is if we could figure it out, and that guy was willing to, or girl was willing to work through figuring out which connection we were going to make, and actually made it to it, those people were like ranked higher than other people that were like, I can't do video. Well,
yeah, they taught us they were problem solvers, and we want problem solvers.
Yes. So we would interview them. We go right to a video interview. And we centralize all this. So that's, I think, an important thing for us these days is even if, we're interviewing in Miami or San Francisco, it doesn't matter. We can do it from one place with trained people that are used to seeing people all day, every day. And they know what to look for. It's no different if you do a video interview, what's their posture, how's their energy, all of those things. I've done some crazy video interviews, Jimmy, where I'm like, I swear the guy lived in a cardboard box. Um, but hey, the guy answered the questions right. Then we move them to the next step, which is we want to get them in front of a live person. I think there's still a lot of value before you hire them to meet them live, and see, what they're all about. Now, the big thing I think that's part of that. In between those, we reference check. So that's when we'll pick up the phone. We'll call some of their past employers and see what they say, and then in our world, everybody goes through background and motor vehicle because one, we're operating motor vehicles in many of our businesses. But background, I don't want to have somebody interacting with the public or somebody that does delivery or pickup or anything like that, going to somebody's home that I wouldn't want in my own home. So I feel really strongly about that. I think it's a minimal investment to make sure that you can have that kind of guarantee for your consumers that you're only hiring the best people, and that should make. And we use it when we talk about our company all the time because it is one of those things that sets us apart. So another big part is now that we got them face to face, if we decide we're going to hire them, I personally love to give them a hat, a shirt, like right there, right? Like, and then I give them their new hire paperwork. Why do I do that, Jimmy?
So they'll fill it out and bring it back, right?
On their time.
Right.
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 And we've digitized a lot of that stuff today. The gone are the days of you got to do all this stuff in paper and all. Like now there's really good systems out there to get people to, they can fill out paperwork, they can confirm all that stuff. The background checks are all done digitally now. We send them a thing, they log in, they do it, boom, I get a notification as soon as it's complete. And then as soon as it comes back, they take time sometimes, depends on how many places people have lived. But I think the digital age, you got to leverage those things because remember, I said it's about hiring fast. So you got to go through a lot of people to find the good ones, and you got to be able to sort that out really quickly. So that's kind of the basics of walking them through the hiring process. The other big part of people for me is once you hire them, then their first day should be an event. It should be their orientation. It should be like setting the stage for their employment forever. And I think people miss it. That first day, people show up, the manager's unorganized, he's running around, he forgot the guy was coming in. And so the guy gets half training, half attention, and guess what he has for the rest of his time working there?
Bad attitude.
Bad attitude.
Or he doesn't feel loved. He's like,
they didn't care about me from the get-go.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. And I'm telling you, it's all adds up, guys. Like it all adds up to creating a great company. And there's no shortcuts. There's no you got to have the right tools in place, and it's got to be easy, or you can't do it and you can't scale. So these systems and tools that we utilize are time tested. So we have a handbook, we have their paperwork, we have a written training. Okay, like this is one of those that I see this a lot. Companies can have great training, right? I can have this book, Jimmy. It can be 100 pages thick, and but if you don't make it past the second page, it doesn't really matter. So we talk about that. And we say, how do you verify that? I want to pull up one of the tools that we're using today for everybody else to see. And we just spent a bunch of time on this in our own company the other day. So if you guys don't know this, we have the most badass proprietary technology on the planet. I do have to say, I'm pretty impressed with all the stuff that you and the team have built over years, right? What was your thing about overnight success?
Yeah, Jonathan and I are overnight successes in a lot of people's eyes, but it took us 10 years of working overnights.
Overnight, yeah, get there.
Night after night after night, right?
So I'm going to switch over here a little bit, Jimmy. Let me throw this over here.
While you're doing that, I'm going to tell you one of the questions we had when we were at the restaurants is we would ask everybody to tell us a joke. And you'd think that's stupid, but I wanted to see how their brain went, how quick they could go from A to B, how they could problem solve, they could be put on a spot. So if you throw in tell me a quick joke, dirty joke, mom joke, dad joke, I don't care what it was, just the dirtier the joke, the funnier. But just tell me a joke, and the people's faces would go blank, or you'd get the excited ones, and they'd go, "Oh, wait, listen, listen." You would know right then and there their personality. Can they check? Can they jive? Can they move? Can they twist? That kind of stuff. So that was just one of the questions we asked.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Like, it was funny because this whole guide is, like I said, this is available to our members. I'm not going to go through every bit of it, but there's all this kind of, it's all detail explained. But when you look through so here's the sample, where we actually plugged in, video interviewing, and we break it down and tell you exactly how to do it. Well, when I showed you guys so we have the screening questions, okay? So we have all these different kind of things, right? We have the reference check, right? So you can call people up. So these are some of the other good ones, Jimmy, that I love over the years. That's pretty much the screening questions. And then we have these other ones. So it's funny, you were talking about telling a joke. I think that's fantastic. You want to see, can they pivot? The one we used to use was this one down here. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you as an employee? And they got to be able to laugh at themselves, Jimmy.
Yep, that's a good one. Spilling the strawberry margarita on the white shirt. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I got the whole tray of drinks on somebody. I felt terrible, but God, it was funny. That's okay. I asked him the question. Do you believe the customer's always right?
That's a tough one.
And my response is no, they're not always right, but it's our job to make them feel like they're right. So these are great questions for anybody, but all during the interview process, that's important. I think you have to be doing this observation checklist down here. Do they sound enthusiastic? Do they smile often? I mean, Jimmy, one of the questions right here is, do you find it easy to smile? That's a question I ask in an interview, and people are always taken back. It's like, we get to the people that are like, yeah. And
no, I'm just
no, you don't find it very easy. Or you get that person that just lights up, and that's what you're looking for. And during the interview, they smile.
And in these days in the digital world, are they not only are they smiling, but are they engaged, Jonathan? Are they multitasking? Are they texting at the same time that you're talking to them? Are their eyes with you, kind of thing, or are they glazed over? I mean, it's just so much more now that we have to watch in these video interviews that we do.
Yeah. So this is what you're doing, guys. Well, while you're interviewing, these are always in the back of your brain, right? Do they have a positive outlook? And that's about themselves, life, work. I mean, you don't want doom and gloom. You don't want to bring that into your business. Were they well groomed? I mean, I have a beard, right? But this is about as much of a beard as I will accept. I don't want the big burly beards, but do they at least have the fundamentals of good personal hygiene, before they ever come to work for you? Have you ever had to have the conversation, Jimmy, with that employee that's maybe has bad body odor or something like that? Like, oh God, I was always the guy. They'd be like, okay, you got to go talk to me.
Me too. Yep.
Okay. And you're back into it, but again, it happens, and you if I can stop that from the get go, then I always want to do it.
I got to tell you, I've walked on more of a kitchen line with deodorant more times than I can count. Dude, you stink.
You might need this. And then I even have when we used to do big hiring events, we would actually, just in the interest of keeping time moving, we would actually hand out a written questionnaire for them to fill out to see just the fundamentals of if they know what's going on. I even make them do math, Jimmy. It is the craziest thing watching people try to do math.
Oh, that would take me forever. I could do it, but yuck.
And then, so another big one is, so I also believe in this, the offer letter. So, most people don't do this unless it's kind of like a high level job. We do this with everybody. But the offer letter is designed to make sure that, like, I don't want somebody coming back. Oh, you said you were going to pay this. No, I'm pretty sure. Let's go pull out the piece of paper that says what I said I was going to pay you. Um, so that's, I think, really important. So that is the fundamentals of that. So the next big thing, like that's really the hiring side. I want to show you guys some cool tools that Jimmy and I get to play with. Okay, we are going to go. I'm going to change it. Oh, okay. Give me 1 second here, Mr. Borneman.
He's all good.
Okay, let me jump into.
You're stuck on the letter still.
Yeah, I'm going to flip it out here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go. Okay, so Jimmy, look familiar? Yeah.
Okay, got it up and on 2 screens.
So, so if you guys don't know this, the secret sauce in many aspects of what we do and why we're able to build companies. And I bought a company a year ago that had 17 locations, and with 34 and about 8 more being built. The way we're able to do that is we leverage technology and systems that are time tested and proven, and that's exactly what Success Systems has always been about. Well, this is kind of like the mothership. So this is just a test one I wanted to show everybody. There's not a lot of data in this per se. I didn't want to share sensitive information, but this is available to everybody. So like our clients, when we look at it, I see all different clients in here, but this is just one that we're building as a demo. But if you look, guys, so these are the tools that Jimmy and I have available to us. And when you think about the power of the tools and what we have, you can craft them in different ways. And the thing that I wanted to share with everybody today is, as part of our system, so this is everything. So this is contact relationship management. It's conversations, right? This thing monitors, it does email, text, everything, and it all centralizes it. It tracks sales and workflows. And when you know these things, I think it gets important, because if you understand and you wanted to have an opportunity pipeline like you might have for sales, well, why couldn't I have one that says, applied, interviewing? Because the cool thing is, with our technology, you can customize everything. So like with this, so say I took this from a sales thing and now it's applied, and it's, I'm going to interview them. All I do is go like this. I'm like, oh, I'm going to move this person right over here. All right, put them back. So
Yep.
There's some cool things I can tap right into this. So this is about speed for us. There's a whole workflow builder that actually you can visualize anything that you want to build inside of our system. Tons of reporting. One of my favorites, and it's been rough because the system actually, it can take inbound calls, it can do outbound calls as well, and we record all of our calls. And Jimmy knows I'm notorious for just going and listening to calls and hearing what people are saying in our company, whether it's the people that are screening, the people that are answering the phones and selling, the sales guys themselves. And it's just really good to hear what people say. And some people rock it and some people don't. But
Right?
in the reporting, there's all these different, call reportings. I can look by agent, I can look at appointments, I can look at all different things, all built into one system. Scheduling, it manages calendars. If you guys have ever booked an appointment with me, you've been pushed through an automated calendar. But people think that I have all these different systems, and we used to have all these different systems. We now have them all together. Does reputation management, so it does reviews. Yeah, that's what this check-in client thing is right here. I could go boom, I could send out a message to a client asking for a review. So contacts can do all kinds of things. So if you like to use tags or filters or notes or different things, the contact part of this is probably one of the most important badass things that I've seen in a long time. But here's some secret sauce that people don't understand or know. So there's a big thing out there with funnels, right? Funnels is putting people down a sales path. Well, hiring is a funnel. You're putting a lot in and you're only going to get out a little, right? So it's truly is a funnel. Well, you could have a funnel that is absolutely built around, your hiring process. So if we're looking for a managing partner, then, hey, I can have a funnel that's related to that. When we talk about funnels, we're talking about full-blown web pages. This is like, here's a good example. Here's a managing partner funnel that we put together based off of a video I did. And, boom, Jimmy got it up in a matter of moments. And here's the form. It takes them in. The form can do 9,000 things on the back end, all integrated. It's not like we got to go use a separate form builder and bring it in. It's all here, and we can stick it on a web page and put it live in 2 seconds, which I think is probably one of the biggest attributes is the speed in which we can actually put stuff to the world.
It's a bit badass, if I do say
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, the speed is wild. So that's a funnel. Okay. So if I looked here, boom, internet, and why the www, boom, that is live, guys. That is out there, ready to go, looks beautiful. And Jimmy, how long do you think it took you to put that together?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, top to bottom, right? Built the form, built all the process, loaded the video.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So if you think about ways, like when you think about the reporting, there's 900 things I can do with the reporting. When you look at the marketing side, here's campaigns, emails. We can do both. We can trigger link things. So if anybody touches anything, how do you think we were able to keep up with you guys so well? We like have LoJack on you.
Right.
It's got the form builder. It can do a survey builder. So if they answer a question a certain way, it does something different. You can have all kinds of templates, whether you like, raw templates, you like HTML templates. It's got an email builder, but I'm telling you, this one here is what I love, right? So there's funnels and there's websites, right? Websites can move around. So I'll show you guys one. I'm going to say, oh, I want to add a new website. I'm going to go to my template library, and I'm a up and coming
Home services.
Yeah, let's do home service. That's actually really good, right? So I'm a home services person. I can pop in here. I can grab a template that looks professional as hell, and boom, I can instantaneously, this thing gets loaded. I just got to go. I can, delete things I do or don't do. I can grab a couple testimonials, and if you're constantly getting reviews, you should easily have plenty of testimonials. You can put all this stuff in here really, really, really quick. And this, when I talk about a website, the biggest difference between a website and a funnel is this navigation.
Yep.
So it has the navigation, so you can take them to different parts. Now, the last one that I want to show you, which is related to our topic today, is this. So if you understand membership site, right? If you've ever been a member, if you're a member of Success Systems, then you're well aware that we have membership sites. Well, I'm sending people to a secure place that I can put my information that I want to share with them. And in Success Systems, we do it because we want to help you become a better business person. We want to help you grow your business. Well, what if I did that with my employees and I used it to help them become better employees, and I was able to standardize my training? Like, I'm not so that everything should be digital, but I'm telling you, when you go and you think about what you can do with something like this, and here's a great example, right? So here's a tech training sample. So it's just one thing in there. Now, if you know anything about me, we use it for Success Systems and all of our different members. We use it for all of our training in the different companies. I use it for all of my franchise interactions. So same thing. I have franchise owners. There's proprietary information. I want them to go through a gate. Well, guess what? They have owners portals. So the difference between a portal and a membership site, Jimmy, is what?
About 2 letters.
I asked our sign guy the other day, what's the difference between a sticker and a decal? And he goes, that's about $20.
$20.
They charge me $20 for a decal. Stickers are cheap. So if you look here, guys, and this is, it's got a welcome. It's got about the people that are actually teaching the course. It's got the objectives. Right here's like, how to clean a hood of a vehicle. Here's the first video concept, and all of this stuff is like completely editable. Like if I wanted to take this, Jimmy, and stick it down here, I can move it and stick it down there. If I wanted to take this lesson and say, oh, you know what, Jimmy, this is going to work way better if we put this in the advanced, I just drag and drop. And then inside of these, which I think is cool, the remember we have a welcome video in there. We don't the where's
It
the one
was
that had
the,
it? Oh, we should do the hood.
it was the, you're going so fast, it's how to clean.
Yeah. Okay. So how to clean a hood of a vehicle. And it's not. This is actually not that, but we're just showing you that. Here we have a video, so the person actually watches it. This is the back end now. Think about this. This is where we can actually create it. We can have thumbnails that we put in there. We can load files. So when I do this for the owners and stuff, all the different franchisees, they have their license and their agreements are in here. So it's kind of cool. And you have all this different body and you can configure this, right? Well, now I hit the preview button and now I can see what it would look like out in the real world. If somebody's going through this membership site, boom, right? They get the video. Here's all the stuff that we had written underneath. There's the file that we were going to share with them. And it literally is that fast. They want to move to the next one. They can move to the next one. They want to move, so here you go. We got some video. Instructors. So this is one of those other things. So the biggest thing I want everybody to understand about this, for somebody like me that has a lot of different businesses but all of them have the same fundamental standards around what we expect and how we operate, our daily, weekly, monthlies, all those things are very, very similar. So the thing for me is I know that if I'm in the field and I walk up to an employee and I'm in San Francisco, never met somebody before in my life, and I meet them, I'm like, hey, Jimmy, how you doing today? Nice to meet you. How long you been with us? Oh, I've been with you for 2 months. Hey, have you been through our training? Oh, yeah, I went through all the training. Well, okay, then I know that he already knows. I asked him a couple questions. Odds are he's going to know who I am before I know who he is because he's going to see a video from me welcoming him. So this is one of those things that can get you really nice standardization across the board because the difference between hiring somebody and doing verbal training, it's like a pet peeve of mine is when people everything's just verbal. I'm going to tell them everything they need to do. Well, if you don't have energy that night, maybe you were out the night before, and today you're feeling it. You're like, oh, you're going to rush through it. You might not spend the time. If you have a system that explains everything to them, and then you go do hands-on with them and actually show, right? So it's tell, show, do, review, old school.
Right.
So if the telling of them is digital, all standardized across the company, across the country, well, the show and the review stuff, that's like has personal flavor. So we're not losing the personal flavor. We're just doing it in a different way. So I believe in hiring people well. I believe in orientating them, which you can do through here. One of the cool things about this, if you look, right, when they're done with it, they have to mark it as complete. So we're able to actually look on the other side, and we're up to look at analytics, and we can actually look at the product and we can see where people are in the process as they're going through it.
I love that part.
So I can see if we get a whole bunch of people that have been hired, and I can see their start date, but they haven't gotten through where they should by that certain time period, and they haven't logged on, then we know that there's a problem there. And for me, it's an indicator of if a store, isn't following procedures, they want to get credit for training dollars. The only way to do it is to turn me in 100%. It's got to come from this machine, not from your, pencil whipping a piece of paper.
Yep.
So there's lots and lots of cool stuff that you can do with it. But I just wanted to show you guys. And then there's this library dashboard stuff for you. But that is just one of the many things that's available to you guys. But so hire well, hire fast these days, make good decisions, but make sure you background check. Onboarding, critically important. Orientation checklist. Okay. Put them through a great written training program that is at least standardized from you communicate the right things to them, and then tell, show, do, review. If you can do that and then get them through the training process, heck, I mean, you should be able to hold on to people. You should have really good, well-trained people, you'll reduce your turnover, which costs a hell of a ton of money. And next thing you'll be out of the hiring problem that you might be in today, and that I see and hear everybody talking about. So get good at these things.
Absolutely.
Right.
Like you said, it's a system, and it's really the foundation, in my opinion, of getting good staff to get them started, and then getting them a fast start. And then our next part of our conversation, whether it be today or tomorrow, is how to maintain those employees and how to get them to the next level, how to get them to love you as much as they love coming to work, or vice versa, so they stick with you versus there's a whole thing going on right now with employees quitting quickly, looking for that next job. 2 years ago, it was 1.5%. Today, it's 2.3%. I mean, that's a very large jump on people just getting a job, quitting, getting a job, quitting. So one of our next little quick topics might be about the next level of maintaining, it. Sorry, I'll get there, but it's not so much about that $1, Jonathan, when they want that extra job. It's really about how we can make them feel comfortable. Do we give them PTO if something's wrong and they've got to go? Do we, honor that? Do we support them? Those people will stay forever versus that $1. They're just a commodity looking for the next spot. But if I got an employee who knows that he'll work for 15, but he can tell me in 2 days that, Jimmy, I'm just not feeling good, or I got to go see my mom, we'll move around with him, and he'll be with us for years because we care about that moment in his life. So anyways, there's a whole nother section to this conversation I think we'll have later. But
Yeah, no, I give you an amen on that, brother. Can I get an amen over here?
hey, oh, you know me, brother.
Amen.
I'm all over.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I was on a plane recently, and I got a couple episodes off of HBO Max, and it's God, I forget the name of it. I'll think of it for everybody, but it's an English football club hires like a USA like college coach, but he's never done anything with football, soccer, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And oh my God, it is like one of the best because it's almost like what you said, Jimmy. Like the guy is just so nice, and he's always looking for ways to get in and like to connect with his people. And it's like I've only seen a couple episodes, but I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. It's about being a good person and really going out of your way to connect with your people, and you can really build something great. So I will share that with you guys.
Another topic after that will be kind of that teaching our managers to love on our employees is a whole nother section of this problem that we have in called employment.
Well, it's culture, Jimmy. You got like the culture. You got to build this stuff, and it comes from the minute that the first interaction you have with them. I mean, and it's the reason that there's all those steps in that interview process, Jimmy, because I want them to jump through some damn flaming hoops. I want them to value the job. I want them to know that they're in a good place. And if you're educating them all along the way, you're going to be way, way, way ahead of that guy that just takes anybody off the street, puts them in a dirty T-shirt, and sends them back there to do work. You can't do it. If you're trying to build something great, that is not the way to do it.
No, and the last piece I'll say is people don't leave the company, they leave the management, or they leave the people more than they do anything else. People don't leave the church, they leave the pastor or the community. It's that same, they just leave the people. I mean, you caught me on a holier than
okay, we are at our time. Thank you guys. Thank you. If we bounced you out on the first round, hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you need anything from Jimmy and I, we're readily available. We're both on social media, everywhere you can possibly think of. You can shoot us an email. You're Jimmy at My Success Systems. I'm Jonathan at My Success Systems.
Yep.
.com. So if you really are trying to get a hold of us, let us know. But we have great people, we have great products, and our people have been doing a beautiful job of helping businesses grow. And we're just here to help, guys. We don't want anything in return. We just want you guys to be successful, and we want to build a great community of folks that are doing great things. So share your wins with us. We love those.
Absolutely. And I just want to shout out to our team because we do really have a badass team of people that support you and I. We really do.
We have a badass team, Jimmy. I do concur, and we do appreciate them.
Thank you.
The beach trip, which The video we can't publicize with the beach trip. That says a lot. I might put it on mine. We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay, Jimmy, that's it for me. I'm heading out of here, folks. It's
Peace
been
out.
real.
Have a good one.
Arrivederci.
See you soon.
Peace. I'm out of here.